Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, students, friends, family, everybody on the internet, welcome to another episode of Teacher Emilio podcast. This is episode 97. I gotta be careful, I don't want to get it wrong. And well, look, we've got yet another guest who's been in the podcast before, but our previous episode was only audio. This time we've got audio and video, so thank you for joining us. And well, big thank you for those of you on Spotify, and if you are on YouTube, welcome. And I hope you like the video. And well, look, maybe it's been a while. I think I would easily say that at least a year. So we said let's do a part 2. And interestingly enough, today's topic is going to relate a bit with what we talked about last time. And well, we've got Itzel back. And Itzel, thank you for coming. I did mention on one of my recent episodes, I have to record with you, and there you are. They are here. So thank you for joining us and welcome.
Dreams come true, Emilio.
Woohoo.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm really glad that I'm here with you again. It's a pleasure and it's an honor to be here with you, sharing these amazing episodes with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for the support. And of course, thank you for you guys for tuning in. And well, Itzel, look, let's begin by asking you about this, your, let's call it your baby for now, right? So, and for those of you who don't know, and please correct me because I think I may not get it 100% right, but Itzel has had her own dancing group / academy. Let's group. Okay, you're nodding. So dancing group.
Yes.
And she's had it for over a year. It's been past the 12 months.
Probably a year and a half.
There we go. And you have been performing in different cities, different states, territories, and just to name a few, Sydney and Canberra, not Canberra, Canberra. Of course, you're based in Melbourne, so Melbourne, that's just crazy.
And happily, we have some people in Brisbane now.
Oh, there we go.
So, Son de Mexico has also performed in Brisbane.
This is unreal.
Yeah.
Did you ever think, when you said, I'm going to start my own dance group, was this something that you thought of, or it's more like this has been unfolding on its own?
It definitely is something that I dreamt of. But I didn't expect it to come so quickly.
True, because in the span of a year, you've got... Wait, so when you say Brisbane, is like participants in Brisbane, or did you guys also go to Brisbane?
No, we have participants in Brisbane. We have 2 dancers over there who are taking online classes with me and performing already.
Wow, okay. Yeah. I was about to say that, look, maybe a good excuse because I'm not the best dancer. That's one of my New Year's resolutions. It's like, but maybe it's hard because if you can't go. And now you're like, Emilio, I've got people in the other side of the country who are dancing online. So, okay, just putting myself on the spot.
If there's will, there's a way.
Okay, wow.
Yes.
So it's amazing to hear that this started as a dream or like something that you thought of doing. Can you tell us, for our listeners, can you tell us a bit about what made you start this group? Because it is probably, let's say, a bit of a different type of, let's call it, or I'm thinking hobby, but even not hobby /
project.
Exactly.
I would say
usually people would start their business in terms of like maybe making something, cooking something, and you do make something, but it's more to do with like, let's say, the performance side of things.
Experience side of things, yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that? And what made you do this?
Well, as you said a few minutes ago, it is a little bit like my baby. And if you look closer, the name has the word son. So it's a little bit like my son. It's a creation of both me and my husband. I dreamt of having a dance group many years ago, but it was just like a very bizarre kind of dream. Like, it would be wonderful to have, my own group, put my own repertoire and design my own choreographies and my own creations. It would be amazing. But it was just a dream. It was just a thought. It was a wish. And then when I spoke about this with Carlos, my husband, he was like, and he's also a dancer, by the way. He knows about my passion and he shares that passion with me. He was like, well, I think it's about time. Like, you've been thinking about this for a while. I don't see why it wouldn't be possible. We have the space, as in mental space. We have the time. We have the resources. Let's start something of our own. Of course, you have the knowledge. You have the experience dancing in Mexico. You have the experience dancing in Australia. You have the experience dancing in Venezuela. You have the experience dancing in, so there's a curriculum behind it. And he's very good with all the admin stuff. He's very good at coordinating things and having everything under control. And it was a good combination of both our skills. So his skills as an incredible engineer that has everything methodic and following step by step.
All organized.
Following the rules, and me being the more, creative kind of part of the project. And so I was like, you know what? Yes, you're right. We are a good team. We have the same passion. We share the same passion, the same love for Mexico and for its culture and the arts. Let's do it.
5 husband points for Carlos. Kudos to you, Carlos, and thank you. That's awesome. There we go. I mean, and how did you feel? Look, before we keep going, I have to ask, how did you feel? Because, sometimes with like friends, family, like even our inner group, the opposite could happen, that you say, oh, I'm thinking of doing something, but then you get maybe not the best support, let's say, right? But on the positive side or on the flip side, in your case was the opposite. So you're getting like, your partner saying, hey, why don't we do this? You've got all this curriculum, you've got all this experience. Let's do it. And then that was like, okay, yes, boom. How did you feel when that happened?
It was amazing. It was, of course, every time you think about a project, every time you think about a task, whatever task it is, you always have what's the pros and what are the cons of doing this. And we found a lot of cons. We found a lot of challenges that we will face. We knew about those challenges. We knew about the risks. And it was like, okay, are we committing? Are we committing to face these risks together, face these challenges together? And probably it's going to be tough. Probably it's going to be very, very hard. We know that this could happen. Are we willing to face this? Yes, we are. Like, there's nothing to lose. It's going to be hard. It's going to be probably, frustrating sometimes. But if all the pros overcome those challenges, there's no problem. Like, it's going to be fine.
Awesome. And I like that Latino spirit there, that, let's say, push of let's just do it. Let's try to get the most from it. Let's see what happens. Yeah. And if the best thing happens, amazing. If not, well, I mean, we are trying, or we tried. It's a learning experience.
Exactly. And I think something that it was very crucial for us, it's that we knew our purpose. We knew that there was something bigger than us and something very impactful in that activity. And it's like, it's going to be okay. Any problem that we will face, it's going to be okay, because the purpose is bigger than anything else we can face.
Before we continue, I have to ask you, now you said it's like your son, like your baby. What made you pick this name? Because I think, I don't know if I'm mixing things up, but I remember maybe telling you when we recorded the first time. If you don't remember, please go and check the episode.
I think it's episode 30, if I'm not wrong.
There we go. Link in the show notes. But, or maybe like I was telling you as a bit of a joke at another time, that how in Mexico you have like different names, right? Or like, I know that like different languages, excuse my ignorance. And I was like, okay, I like Son de Mexico. especially because I can pronounce it well.
Exactly.
I guess you have met many people who struggle pronouncing the name, maybe, or like that they don't get it, crisp right like a Latino would. So I'm just wondering, what made you pick that name? And did you think of like a more quote unquote like maybe traditional name, if that's the...
Of course, I had a list of names. My name is Itzel. All right? So my name is already indigenous.
Oh yeah, like let's say, and not only indigenous, like it's different, right? It's not like Maria or
Exactly.
I don't know, Carla, Diana, etc.
Correct. So I was like, ugh, of course I'm going to find a cool indigenous name for my group that it's going to be like Xochiquetzal or something like that. Very, difficult to pronounce.
Exactly. It's like my name is not precisely easy, but let's just get something a bit more difficult.
Yeah. Even I thought on some words that could be easier to pronounce.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I had Nicte, which is it's short, it still has a meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Or Nawi, which is short, still has a meaning, etc. But then again, who's gonna take the time to pronounce it correctly and find what it means? Like, you know what? Let's find something easier, even easier for the Australian to understand and pronounce. And then something really funny happened. My sister-in-law, she's in Mexico, and she with her now husband and her sister-in-law and like a group of friends, they decided to put on a cafe. And when they chose the name, I was a bit surprised because I was like, it's a very uncommon name, but it means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So the name of the cafe is Somos, which in Spanish means we are.
Somos, we are.
Somos,
Okay.
we are. It I don't know, like it makes me think about community. It makes me think about a space. It makes me think about sharing experiences. It makes me think about many, like communal kind of things. And I'm like, that's really cool. I would like to have something similar to that into the name of my group. And luckily, there's a word in Spanish, which is son, that means many things. It means they are. Son, they are. It also means the traditional song, a traditional rhythmic song from not only Mexico, but from Latin America. We have son cubano, we have son montuno, we have different types of sones. And also, in English, it means son, as in hijo in Spanish, right?
Nice.
And I'm like, it's perfect. It has all the amount of meaning I want it to have.
It's ticking all the boxes.
It's ticking all the boxes. It's easy to pronounce. It's
Nice.
easy to understand. And it has the word Mexico in it. So that's really important because if I am a Mexican folkloric dance, I want the word Mexico to be in it.
Or something that I suppose is like the same striking power like nachos or, I don't know, quesadilla, something that as soon as you hear it, you go, that has to be from Mexico.
Exactly. There's no doubt about it. People will understand where is it coming from, and people will possibly, hopefully, pronounce it correctly.
Oh, true. Have you been, I guess compared to Nike and the other names you mentioned before, or even like your name, I suppose you do minimal correction, right? With Son de Mexico.
Yeah. Well, of course, we have to do it like Son de Mexico.
Oh,
Yeah.
true. Okay.
But
Yeah.
Even like that, it's not that difficult.
I have to ask you, so you have this thought, then, support from Carlos. Once again, thank you, Carlos. And then, you come up with the name, but question. I think I know the answer already. There is no silly question, so I take this as an opportunity to remind that our listeners this.
That's true.
The name is Son de Mexico, right? Or Son de Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not Mexican. What if I want to join? I'm Venezuelan. A part of me feels Mexican, but I've only been to Mexico on holiday, sorry. So, I may not be Mexican enough to qualify to join. Can you tell us a bit about that? Because you mentioned the word community, and there might be someone listening thinking, hey, this sounds amazing. And I'm just wondering, is that a prerequisite? Do you get extra points if you want to?
There's a very famous Mexican artist, Chabela Vargas, who says a Mexican is born wherever the heck he wants or she wants.
Oh, wow. Tell us more.
If you feel like you want to learn Mexican folkloric dance, this is the time. This is the time. It's now. It's very interesting to see the variety of nationalities that we've had in the group in a year and a half, that we've been probably less than a year and a half. Of course, we have people from Mexico, but we've also had people from Australia. We've also had people from Colombia. We've also had people from Paraguay. So, I mean, the doors are open for anyone.
That's amazing. And I think this also links not only quite well with the community that you mentioned before, but also like values from being in Australia. I'm sure that anyone that has been here long enough would know how important it is being part of the community, how anyone is welcome. That's pretty cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's our little hub. It's a Mexican hub because we play Mexican music, we dance Mexican songs, but we share from different communities and from different nationalities, different cultures.
You know, talking about, before we continue talking about Son de Mexico, what you mentioned about this quote, it reminded me something that I've watched, recently, well, not recently, but let's say over the past 12 months. And it is this guy in America. You know how, let's say, all these issues with like racism and what's the other one? Cultural appropriation. And there is this guy who dresses like the typical, let's say, Mexican costume, right? He's got the big sombrero. Have you watched that video?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so imagine like the average or the stereotypical white guy. And he would dress, like a Mexican. And what's the name of the very common like shirt like that you guys have?
The shirt?
I think it's like, well, okay, I have to check it. I have to do my homework.
Like the...
It's like basically, so you've got a sombrero and then you have like a...
Like the poncho?
Maybe it's the poncho.
Similar to...
I'll have to double check. So again, all the Mexicans now, don't leave me a dislike, please. I'll check. So anyways, he's dressed like the most stereotypical Mexican traditional that you can, right?
Yeah,
and then he would go into the town and interview people. And it's like, dude, what do you think about me wearing this? And everyone is very welcoming, like, bro, you look amazing, cool, da-da-da. And then it's like, do you feel this is cultural appropriation? And a lot of people were like, no, I'm happy. He looks good. I like that he's wearing a sombrero. I like that he's wearing things from my country. I love that clothing, and I like that someone who's not Mexican is, wearing this. Mm-hmm. So it was a very positive message. And, I think similar to what you were saying reminded me of this video.
Yeah. They got good feedback from people around.
Yeah, so I guess it's also good because a part of me is like, okay, what if I want to be part of the group, but I'm not from Mexico?
Oh, I got it. Oh, well, some we have values in the group. Values are important in any organization, right?
Of course.
You need the pillars of your project need to be based on something. And our project is based mainly on respect. Not only respect for Mexican culture, not only respect for, like Mexicans, Mexican community, Mexican history, all the traditional knowledge from our indigenous groups, but also respect to the other cultures in Australia. Respect to our colleagues, to our fellow dancers, respect to the teacher, respect to the time, respect in general. Like, respect is our basis. And if you go with that mentality to the rehearsals, if you join with that mentality to the group, it's gonna be easy. It's not complicated to find that barrier or that line between what's appropriate and what's not. If you think it's respectful, it's appropriate. If you think this, I don't know, for example, what you say, no, wearing this, wearing that, wearing the sombrero, etc. Is this respectful? Probably you should think twice. It's just a matter of putting that into perspective.
That's good. I like how you're mentioning this because another thing that I just remembered is that I like the idea that anyone can join, and because you learn from different cultures. But I mean, I don't know. I get the feeling that if it is a Mexican group, it will be like, oh, everyone has to be from Mexico. But I like how you are saying, not necessarily. There may be someone who wants to learn from Mexico. Yeah. And I think I think there is something beautiful in that. And it is that I would say, like all the way from Mexico, all the way down to Argentina, including Brazil, like there is a lot of mix in our countries. Yeah. So regardless of how you look, you could be, white, black, Asian, etc. Regardless of how you look, you could be Latino or you could be from X country. So I think it's also really nice how you're bringing this up.
Absolutely. And you go to the group not only to learn how to dance, but you also learn about history. Because of course the dance it started from somewhere. Like it didn't start just out of nowhere.
It's not like you made it up.
I didn't make it up. It has a basis. It has a why. Like, why are we wearing this? Why are we wearing this kind of shoes? Why are we wearing this kind of dresses? Why are we doing this kind of steps? What are we trying to express with this? And all that information, it's explained during the rehearsals. There's a lot of information behind the dance. It's not only a movement and that's it. There's a lot of meaning. And that's what I love about Mexican folkloric dance. It tells you a story. It tells you a lot of things. It tells you a little bit of why Mexicans are Mexicans. Why Mexicans have that personality, why we have those kind of traditions, why we identify with certain things.
Wow, okay. Have you, since you've had a mixed group and students from, or like, let's say, members from different countries, have anyone ever mentioned similarities between, say, for example, I don't know, Colombia or Paraguay and Mexico? Because, I mean, obviously every country is different, right? But I don't know, there might be something similar in the way either of the way of doing things or maybe even the meaning behind the dance.
There's a lot of similarities, mostly because we were conquered by the same country. And many things that happened in Mexico also happened in Colombia, but also happened in Paraguay. And, I think all Latin American countries had a very similar experience with all the conquest.
Oh, okay.
And we explore those similarities and we explore the differences and we get super excited when we're like, oh, that happened in Mexico as well. For example, the dresses. Some of the dresses are similar and you might wonder, why are they similar if those two countries are so...
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, because of course the fabrics came from Europe and then they were spread in Latin America. But also each country in Latin America had their own ways of weaving. So when they mix kind of fabrics that came from Europe and then the traditional weaving techniques, it comes with something different but similar in a way. For example, the embroideries. We have a lot of embroideries. We have a lot of different embroideries, but at the same time, they look very similar because, for example, maybe in Venezuela, the women or the people who were doing embroidery, they were representing a specific flower because that was the flower of the town.
Oh, okay.
But then you go to Mexico and there's a particular town that was doing something similar. They were embroidering a flower. So at the end, people were expressing the beauty of nature through embroidery. And that happened in all Latin America, pretty much.
Wow, and just like with different types of art, there's going to be similarities.
Yeah.
Wow, how cool. Another thing that, coming back to the group, I mean, I also have to ask, and this again, on the silly stack of questions, but looking at the logo, it doesn't have, and this is, again, I'm putting myself on the spot, but, since it is Mexico, usually lots of things related to your country have got the green, white, and red. Did you think of putting those colors in the logo? Or...
No, I didn't want the colors of the flag to be in the logo. But when we discussed about the logo and the image of Son de Mexico with the designer, we gave him a mood board. My mood board was based on the urban art in Mexico.
Yeah.
Urban art meaning graffitis, meaning, for example, in Mexico we have something that is called rótulos, which is the way that you've been to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember the stalls, the street stalls for the food, like the street food.
Putting me on the spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
The food stalls in the streets of Mexico, they have a particular way of putting the names. For example, tacos and tortas. If you look on Google, tacos and tortas rótulo, you will find a very specific kind of font, colors, design, etc. So that was my mood board, like urban, Mexican urban.
Okay.
And the designer was like, yeah, it looks really cool, but of course we're not gonna go with that straightforward. We need to make some adjustments. And given that Mexico is very colorful, we needed something bright, very bright colors, and contrasting to each other. And he came up with the idea of having like flashing colors with a font that kind of looked like the rótulos.
All right.
And also some waves, some figures, some forms that could be used freely for the designs. And yeah, that's how we came up with the logo.
How interesting. So there is the splash of Mexico despite not being like, let's say, the typical
Straight.
quote unquote.
Yeah.
I feel bad because when I was in Mexico, I didn't look for the fonts, or I just looked at the taco stand and I was like, good afternoon, bro.
Hey.
Oh, good afternoon, bro. I would like a taco. And then I just order, and that's about it, really. And he basically, I think it's because of movement. Maybe it's because of movement. So we had
We need to dance.
Okay. Feeling, I felt back in Venezuela, I'm so used to electricity blackouts. It's like it's chasing me. But anyways, I would just be like, oh, tacos, this must be good. I see some people here and I'm like, bro, please give me your most popular taco. And he's like, can you eat spicy food? I'm like, bro, make it like a Mexican. And he's like, let's do it, my friend.
That's
and then
brave.
Yeah, and then I cried a few times, but it was delicious. So there we go. Wow. So basically we've got the beginning. You set up, I guess at the beginning was the two of you, right? So it was your husband and you.
Yeah, it was the two of us. Probably for 2 weeks.
There is a bit of a gap for, when I did the intro, people are like, okay, so what happened? 1 year performing in different cities. Can you tell us a bit about that gap? How can you, guide us through what happened?
Well, I would like to say long story short, but there's no such thing as a long story short.
Okay, good. We've got time. Cool.
So we started being just my husband and me. That's it. And that was probably one of the first things that we faced, the first challenges that we faced. Is there gonna be anyone who will be interested in joining? Like, let's be fair. Like, there are not many Mexicans, and there are not many people who know about Mexican folkloric dance, right? So, I don't know. It's gonna be complicated, but I don't care. We want to dance. We want to share our culture with the people. We want to share our type of our Mexican folkloric dance. Let's just do it. But soon after we started, some people noticed that we were rehearsing already. We were planning to have like a few performances somehow, and they raised their hands and say like, "Can we join?"
Well, look at that.
And I was like, oh, of course you can join. Like, I will be thrilled to have you in the group, and it will be my honor, my pleasure to have you. And these were 4 girls that were like, yeah, we really believe that you will do a great job. We want to be your first dancers. We want to be the first to believe in your project.
Shout out to the 4 of you.
You're in my heart forever. So we said yes, of course. We don't have a space. We don't have like a studio or anything like that to rehearse, but we can join in the park, in a public space if you don't mind. Yeah, of course, let's join. So we started rehearsing literally at the park, where anyone could see us and anyone could just pass by and say, what are these weirdos doing? And that's how we started. Then we probably like 1 or 2 months after we started, we tried to get in contact with some people that we knew and let them know, okay, this is what's happening. We started this project. We would like to have the opportunity to perform. If you allow us to perform at your event, of course, we can bring something very vibrant, very, very elegant, or like we can organize something really, really nice for your event. And that's how we started. Like, we literally were knocking on doors saying, hi, I'm Itzel, he's Carlos, we are Son de Mexico. We started this project because of this, and we want to dance. And little by little, we started getting some calls. Oh, I saw your email. Oh, I saw your message. It looks really cool what you're doing. It would be cool to have you at our event. We also look for friends that could help us. We have a friend who's a really good photographer and videographer. So he was like, oh, I'm happy to help you with some photos and some videos.
Thank you, friend.
So he's like, yeah, I can help you with this, and you can share those photos with the people, so it's more visual. Your introduction is more visual. So that's how we started. Of course, as a business, you need to know about business. You need to learn about businesses. And there was another friend who recommended us a free program from City of Melbourne, who was giving like mentorship for small businesses. Kudos to that friend as well. Like, everyone who puts a little bit of their, like support or help, it's forever in our hearts. So we took that mentoring. We learned about businesses. We learned about, like how to manage people, how to manage your finances, because you have a business. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things on the plate. And
it has to be profitable. Somewhat.
Has to be profitable. Yeah. So at the same time that we were growing the group with more and more dancers, we were growing the business, as in learning more and being more strategical. It's not only like, oh, let's just dance because of the sake of dancing. We need to be more strategic. And one of those introductions that we made was to the embassy.
Wow.
We sent a message and said, hi, hello, tuk, tuk, tuk. We are Son de Mexico. We are doing this. And anytime you want a performance, we are here. And they were like, it sounds amazing. Let's have a call. We are interested. All right. Okay, let's...
Game on.
It's
happening.
Yeah, it's happening. I think, of course, we had a few performances before that one. But to be fair, I think that was the performance that opened our eyes.
Would you say that was like the tipping point? Like right after that happened was like that, what you said, open your eyes, like that aha moment of this can get big.
Yes. Do you remember earlier I said I didn't expect this to go big that quickly?
Yeah.
Well, that was the moment when I said, I wish for this. When we started the idea of creating Son de Mexico, we said it would be amazing to go one day and perform at the embassy and in the middle of the event, listen to the Mexican anthem. It would be a dream. And then a few moments after that, you are receiving this call and saying, oh, we want to have a chat with you because we are having this Independence Day event and we would like you to perform at it.
How good.
And that was amazing. That was really wonderful. Right in that in that meeting, there was another person who's a big, amazing, massive artist in Sydney. He's also Mexican and he's super talented. We already knew about him many years ago. We knew about his existence, about his job. And when we knew that he was going to be there at the same event, we're like, oh my God. It's like this, like this.
Of course, that good pressure.
This fun moment. It's like, oh my God, this is happening. And then he said to us, we want to have a chat with you as well because we are having an event the next day after the performance at the embassy, and we would like to have you in our event because we see that you're good. Like we've seen a little bit of your videos and it looks like you're good. And we're like, yeah, of course, yeah, let's do it. So that same weekend, we had a performance at the embassy on the Saturday and then, on the Friday. And then on Saturday, we drove to Sydney and had a performance in Sydney.
For those that are not in Melbourne, or like for those of you that, may not be familiar with distances, when you say the embassy, that would be in
Canberra. That's in ACT.
How long did it take you to drive from here to Canberra?
It was like 7 to 8 hours.
Wow. That's passion and love right there.
Yep.
And then, so you did that show, which was already like the pinnacle. You thought this is the dream. And then on top of that, you get another artist also from your country, which and then telling you, hey, why don't you come tomorrow? That's super Latino.
Well,
good.
It was not like that.
Well,
it was
true,
not
true.
like tomorrow. We spoke about this like probably a month before. He knew that we were going to be at the embassy.
Okay.
So he was like, it's a 2-hour drive from Canberra to Sydney.
Oh, really?
Would you like to come to our event after the embassy's event? And we're like, yeah, of course. So
yeah, why would you say no?
Why would you say no?
And if you did already 7 hours ish, you might as well do a bit more, and then you get the whole little experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we had that opportunity. We went to Sydney. We performed there. It was fantastic because we were performing with live music, with musicians, super talented musicians from different countries around the world. Oh my God. It was honestly, I feel chills every time I think about it and I speak about it. Because as I tell you, like it was that moment when we say, okay, this can go as big as we want. This can go as big as we wish because it's possible. The possibilities are infinite. It was great to share it, of course, with my husband and Adriana, the other dancer that came to dance as well.
Thank you, Adriana.
It was great. It's been a good experience. And then time passed. We had more performances. In the Mexican community, there's a peak season, which is around Day of the Dead. We already spoke about this topic before. So during that season, we had, I'm not joking, like probably 6 events in the same week.
Whoa.
It was massive as well.
Is it weekends and weekdays? Right?
Yeah, for this occasion, we had weekends and weekdays.
Whoa.
Because there were some primaries that wanted to have us at their Day of the Dead event. So, okay, let's go to the primary. Let's go to this other school. Let's go to... there's another event that happened on that week that also was like incredible for us. So there's a group also in Melbourne that it's called Queen of Hearts, and they are a women-only mariachi kind group. and they knew about us, and also like they asked us, can you dance? We will have an event on the Melbourne Recital Center. And I'm like, what? Melbourne Recital Center? Really? Yeah. And we would like to have you as our guest dancers. We're like, okay. So we had that performance during that week. It was massive. Again, it was another moment in the life of Son de Mexico that we're like, again, this is as big as we want it to be. Time passed, and then, of course, the more people we have in the group, the better. Because if you have, for example, 6 people dancing at the same time, it looks very, like stunning. When you see the 6 people dancing, doing the same kind of step, the same choreography.
Oh,
For me,
yeah.
it's visually harmonious. I love it.
Would you say, I mean, is that similar to, and again, this is coming from someone who doesn't know much about this, in case you or someone watching is like, Emilio, so bad. Is it like close to like Cirque du Soleil, or maybe performances like that? I know the approach is different, but as in that, let's say, style of being on a stage with having lots of people doing the same.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. For me, that's the part of this art that makes me vibrate. It's like everyone, it's connected, it's synchronized. They're doing the same step in such a clean way, and the same kind of movement with the skirts, and the same kind of movement with even with the face, So I was like, my dream now is to grow the group. At the moment, we are like 3 performing. I want to grow the group, and I want to prepare...
The group of performers, right?
The group of performance.
Okay.
I want to prepare people to be good dancers and go out and perform for public, perform for big audiences. And that's the objective now. Like, I want to have more people that want to become good dancers, that are committed to become good dancers, that have the passion of sharing Mexican culture, of course the passion of dancing as well, and I think we are on the right path.
Awesome.
We're doing really good with having more people interested. Something really cool that has happened, and this is thanks to one of those first dancers that joined the group. We started an online group. So Anna, she's a girl who I met here in Melbourne. She moved to Brisbane. And one of the things that she said before moving was, I don't want to quit dancing. I don't want to stop dancing. And I want, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do when I go back, when I go to Brisbane? I need you as my dance teacher to keep teaching me what you know. And I'm like, Anna.
That's such a good first world problem, or a good problem to have, right?
Exactly. That's a good problem to have. So she was like, yes, let's just do, like whenever you do the rehearsal, let's do like a FaceTime and I'll join. I'm like, all right.
Technology.
And little by little, I started like, okay, yeah, FaceTime, it's okay, but it's not enough. Of course, you need something more to learn the step, to detail, like something more detailed. Okay, I'm gonna make videos, like tutorial videos. I'm gonna post them on a group so you can look at them, and if you have any questions, let me know. If you want, you can also send me a video of you dancing so I can give you feedback. So little by little, I started creating a non-physical group for her, which kind of made sense. Because one of the things that we want as a group, it's not only, like we want to be as big as the people want us to be. If there are people outside Victoria, if there are people outside Melbourne that want to learn from us,
please get in touch. And the good thing is that I guess, once you have that tutorial, people could watch it, even for members that are not in the online group.
Exactly.
Right? So that's like rather than having someone, which, funny enough, I think the easiest way to put it is this podcast, because I thought I could recommend 10 other podcasts, but what if I make one?
Your own.
And then I recommend mine and then other ones. And then, there is you guys, and that's why we're here. So, by the way, thank you for being again. Thank you for coming.
So, yeah, exactly. It all makes sense. It It helps the people from in the online group, but it also helps the people in the offline group. And it also helps me to become a better teacher, because I need to learn how to teach. I need to learn how to, like a step can be very, very difficult. A step can have many different elements. And if I explain it in a video, I don't know if it happens to you, but explaining some kind of, for example, a sentence, the elements of a sentence, it makes you think deeper of that sentence.
Oh, totally.
So it happens the same to me. I need to think way, way deeper to understand a step. It makes me a better dancer, but it also makes me a better teacher.
In the teaching side of things, question, because this is something that would happen to me fairly often, is that the more you deal with people, the more you realize that everyone is so different. Like every person is like its own little world, right? And my approach usually, like 90% of the time, and for those of you who see me in class, or for those of you who know me, you know what I'm talking about, is to make things as simple as they can.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, with anything, we can overcomplicate something, but I try to do the opposite. I make it as simple as possible. But I've noticed that there are people who want something very detailed or very, okay, so where do I put the preposition if I'm using present perfect before the second clause of the blah, 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 blah. And then if I don't reply with that language, it's like it's not going to click. If I say, just put a comma and put however, it's like, no, but I don't understand it. So I guess, does that translate to the dancing group where you have to, find out different ways, or maybe some other learners may want something more specific?
Yeah. And it depends on the person. There are people that are very, they look at me, they see me doing the step, they got it. Like that. Like, as simple as that. But there are some others that no, you need to tell me, where are you putting the weight? Where are you putting the heel, and what's happening to this other part of the foot? I'm like, oh my God, this is too detailed. But there are some other people that are more visual. So if I do like a video, they're like, yeah, that's enough. I have a video, and that explains everything that I need to know. But some other are more like, I need a photo, like a diagram. So.
Oh, wow.
I need to make a diagram. For example, more for choreographies. A choreography could be understood either through a video, but also if you have the scheme of each part of the choreography, it's a bit clearer. So I have to use different resources, share them, take them. Whatever it works for you, take it.
Make it work for you.
Make it work for you.
Imagine, I've had many engineers. By the way, I love my engineers, so don't take this the wrong way, guys. But sometimes my engineers would ask me questions, especially on writing, and it's all very... I can tell by the way they ask me something that they have thought of that thing. It's like, can I put this word next to this after I do this before the full stop? Something like super... And I'm like, look, I'm sorry, man. It doesn't work sorry, guys, it doesn't work that way. It could be like this or like this or like this. And then they go back to syntax error, to trying to calculate something. So I imagine when you said the weight thing, can you tell me weight times dancing time divided by distance multiplied by, I don't know, number of dances? And it can get very complicated.
It can get very complicated. It can get as complicated as they want. But to be fair, it's not easy. This type of dance, it's not easy. It's not something natural. It's not something for example...
hip-hop maybe, or I don't know. Or something that you can pick naturally, I suppose.
For example, if you think of some Latin rhythms, I think we as Latins, we grew up listening to these Latin rhythms, and we saw our families, we saw our parents or our uncles, dancing.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, oh, yeah, I've seen that. Visually, I'm familiar with that.
Mm.
But some people haven't seen even a Mexican folkloric dance. So they are not familiar in any way. Maybe they've heard 1 or 2 songs. That's it. So it's all very unfamiliar to a lot of people.
I imagine like on the welcoming or like on the first meeting with you is like, tell me what you know about Mexican folkloric dance. And then you get, that would be me. It's like, baila tu cuerpo, alegría. That's like the closest I could get. And that's...
Yeah, and there are people like, oh, I've danced during high school. Or I danced during secondary high school. Okay, so you have a little bit of familiarity. That's great. If you have 1% of familiarity, that's amazing.
But question, is it any type of dancing or is it like folkloric dancing?
It's folkloric dance.
Okay. As in, no. I mean, people, their experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in Mexico, we have, well, at least during the 90s and 2000s, I don't know if still the case, but we used to have this type of dance as a class in school. So it's common that some people have already done it when they were kids. So at least they have listened to the song, to the music.
How good.
Yeah, that's good.
Feeling a bit sad back home, I didn't have that class. I mean, I would have done my best to skip it, but putting that on the flip side, I mean, like I told you, if there is, I think I said this off camera, so I'll just repeat it just in case. If there is a test to check how Latino someone is by dancing, I get 51 out of 100. I like barely pass it.
Okay.
I'll need a few beers, maybe.
Okay.
I'll need alcohol in my system. No, but I mean, interesting. That's pretty cool. It's good that, back home you had that class. And obviously, like, if you've got someone with that experience, I mean, it's a plus, right?
Yeah. And it's funny because a lot of our dancers right now are from a state in Mexico called Yucatan. You might already know about it.
I know, I'm a good tourist.
You're a good tourist. You've been to Yucatan, and I'm really proud of you. And one of our base repertoire is from that state. So I love that I am teaching them how to dance the dances from their own state, like where they were born, where they grew. They are learning how to dance their own dances here. And the good side, the great side of it is that I teach them how to dance, but they also teach me a lot of cultural things from their experience. So it's a great match. Like, we have an amazing match. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a spoiler.
Shoot.
Okay. So in Yucatan, there's this type of dance called jarana. That's the traditional name for it, jarana, okay? If you go to a traditional party, let's call it celebration, that one is called vaqueria, okay? So you have vaquerias and jaranas. The jaranas are danced in the vaquerias. And there's a tradition that between one jarana and another, there's an entertainer during the vaqueria that says a kind of traditional saying that it's called bomba. Okay?
All right.
So we have vaqueria, jaranas, and bombas. The bombas are the
entertainment
sayings, the traditional sayings. So it's like it's like a rhyme.
Oh.
It's like a short rhyme.
All right.
Okay? And usually they are kind of funny. Usually they're kind of ludic. Like, they speak about something that happens in the community, and it's to have fun. It's to have a little bit of a laugh between one dance and another.
All right.
Okay? So, I'm not from Yucatan, and I don't have the accent of Yucatan. I have the accent of Mexico City. If I speak Spanish, of course, right? And we're going to be dancing Yucatan, the jaranas from Yucatan, in an event at the Queen Victoria Market. But to make it traditional, we're going to put bombas in between the songs. So it's, of course, a bit more authentic, a bit more like you will live it in Yucatan.
Wow, you can't get, I mean, you're literally like bringing the tradition here.
Exactly. I'm bringing the tradition here. Of course, it would be better if you go to Yucatan and visit. The experience is unbelievable. But I'm bringing you a little bit of the authenticity of the dance with the bombas as well. So it's a whole experience, right? But because I don't have the accent and I'm going to tell the rhymes to the audience, I need to learn the accents.
Oh, of course, you gotta polish it so
I need
that...
to polish my accent. So my dancers from Yucatan, they are tutoring me, they are mentoring me so I can get the accent correct.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that's the kind of things, that's the kind of exchange we have.
And linking it back to what you were saying, that's that community, and it's not just come to my class, listen to it, watch my video. It's more like, I mean, obviously you are the leader, but you also,
I learn.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course. Of course, everyone learns. Everyone learns, and everyone has something to share. Everyone is experiencing something. So it's great not only to meet people, but also learn about what they do in their lives.
I'm not from Yucatan, and I'm excited. I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I think lots of people from that state of Mexico, right? Or state, province, from that area, also for your students or someone who knows about it, seeing that you're putting in the effort to get it as close as it would be over there, I think that's amazing, and it says a lot about your passion.
Exactly. And I love when people feel identified. I love when people relate and see, okay, I'm looking at something that I'm familiar with, and I feel the connection. Wow, I love it. It's again part of our purpose.
And also, I guess that people not only make that connection, but go, this is authentic. This is not like you. I mean, they can see that you're putting in the work. There we go. Back to Australia.
Yeah.
We were in Venezuela in a second. a second ago. Interesting.
Yeah.
Damn, that's so cool. Well, I guess, we're gonna say that if you want to know more about any type of spoilers, then you guys are mostly active on Instagram, right?
Yeah, we're mostly active on Instagram at sondemexico_AU. We are also active on Facebook. We are posting or all the events and dates on Facebook. We are active on TikTok as well. We are doing some crazy videos on TikTok. We have a little bit of everything. We have, of course, more serious videos on YouTube.
Can you think about, would you be able to pick your, let's say, top places or top dances? It sounds like the one at the embassy was the tipping point.
Yeah. You mean the performances we've done? Yeah, definitely. That has been one of them. If I have to choose 3, I would choose the one at the embassy, the one in Sydney, and the third one. This is a difficult one because we had another opportunity in Canberra at the National Multicultural Festival.
Ooh.
And I love this one because of 2 reasons. The first is you are dancing with other amazing folkloric groups from all around the world. So you can see people from different countries in Africa. You can see people from different countries from Latin America, people from different countries in Asia. It's amazing and it's massive. It's like the Olympics, I don't know, kind of. It's massive.
Whoa.
So what's one of the reasons? But the second reason, oh my God. I'm glad that you're sitting down.
Okay. I would fall.
You will fall. You would fall if you weren't sitting. You remember I told you about Anna.
Yeah.
The girl who had to move to Brisbane, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And she was joining online, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this event, we had Anna performing with us live. So we managed to prepare we managed, because I am speaking about me and her, doing both joint efforts. We managed to prepare her with all the technique, with all the skirt moves, the skirt work, choreography, everything she needed to know. She worked really hard to get it straight. And we arrived to Canberra. Carlos, Adriana, and myself, we drove. She flew to Canberra airport. We went to pick her up. We were in the Airbnb. We were rehearsing one day before as a group together, as the four of us together, finally, because she was online. And we did a little bit of, like polishing some details for the big day. And it went amazing. Like one of the best performances we've had. Very energetic. The footwork was amazing. The skirt work was amazing. The energy, the vibrant energy from the whole group, it was great. So I think that's also one of my favorite performances because we managed to combine the online and the present rehearsal together. We got to perform together. And I think that if Anna is listening to this podcast, to this episode, she also feels very proud of that performance. And I feel very proud of her as well. Yeah.
Anna, unreal effort, and that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's if people really want to have a good performance and enjoy it, it is possible. Like everything is possible. Everything is possible. But you just need the willpower.
Of course, and I like this story because it should be motivating not only for people who are thinking of joining, we're going to talk about that in a second, but also for those who perhaps have got like maybe a challenge or a hurdle or something that they are thinking of doing, or God knows, everyone is fighting his or her own battles, and then maybe hearing these stories like, oh wow. But because there might be always I like the motivational bit of, okay, you have like all the odds against you, quote unquote, in the sense that you are not with the dance group. And it's something that, I mean, you, as you were saying, like maybe lots of people get it on the spot by looking, but if you're not there, it's more difficult.
Yeah, definitely.
Yet she managed, well, not only her, I mean, both of you, and hard work, dedication, and then you were able to perform at a stage where not anyone would go. So you need a lot of practice to go. So that's amazing.
It's amazing. And some other thing that you just mentioned, the motivation. Behind the dancer, there's a person. Behind every dancer, there's a person who is struggling with their own demons. You don't know what challenges they're facing. You don't know what difficulties they are facing. But you know that there's no such a perfect life. So, knowing that these people behind the dancer are finding a safe space in Son de Mexico to be themselves, to share their passion, to find a space in their lives where they can, like just forget about the problems, forget about whatever is, being an obstacle probably, and see that with the dance they can find some sort of peace. Some people even find dance kind of a meditation. So even without knowing, we are also coming a little bit into the mental health space.
Exactly.
We're helping in a way for all those persons, all those people that are kind of probably struggling with something, to find some sort of peace, mental peace. And I'm pretty sure that this kind of wins, like the one that I just talked to you about, Anna, it's a huge win. It's a huge win for a person. We might say, it was just a performance. No, it was not only a performance.
And also for you guys, or for you, it's like, exactly, there is so much behind it.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much effort, time, work behind it. And seeing the results of all that effort, it's so satisfying. It's so satisfying, and I'm sure that it makes a lot of people happy. Not only the people in the audience, but also the people on the stage.
The tricky thing is that, I mean, only you, and I mean, when I say you, I mean the dance group, like you guys know the hard work, but people that just watch, they may not know the X amount of hours. They don't know that it was all online. This reminds me of a very interesting case of a student who did well, because look, I'm happy to and proud to say that I've helped many people pass IELTS and PTE, but I had a guy who was in South America and we couldn't, for, lots of reasons, to meet up in class personally. And basically just by voice messages and by me marking his homework, giving him lots of voice notes back and forth, this guy passed IELTS, academic. And it for me, it was like, this is crazy. But again, it's exactly what you were saying, hard work, dedication. So I think that's also so interesting. Plus the extra layer of meeting people, having a place to maybe not just think of work or whatever might be stressing you. So that's beautiful.
Yeah. And I try as best as I can to make it very friendly, push the environment of the group to be friendly, to be open, so everyone can say the things they want to say the way they want to say it. Like there's no judgment. Good. There's no judgment. People can be themselves. I try to be, like funny sometimes. So then of course I'm the teacher, and when I'm teaching something, I demand attention, I demand respect. But outside of the class, I try to be as friendly as I can, and I think I can say that a lot of the people that are in the group are great friends of mine nowadays.
That's amazing, and the same thing would happen to me and students. It's like it's not just teacher student. I'm here, you're there. It's more like, I guess, a deeper click, right? There are lots of other things I want to ask, but we're getting close towards the end. Mm-hmm. I'm sure we're gonna do a part 3, or like you'll be back soon, hopefully sooner than later. I have to ask you, from teacher to teacher, at the very beginning, when I did my first class, I still remember, like at the very beginning, my shoulders used to be as hard as a rock. I was so stressed. Yeah. And I remember that my joke in class, for those of you, I always say, like, I used to be like Eminem. Open the page, boom. And then the students are like, teacher, no, understand nothing. Please repeat. You speak too fast. And then I, in the midst of a heart attack, my name is Emilio, I'm from Venezuela, and then teacher, slowly, please. And then, with practice, then it comes, I guess you start finding that. Spot. Exactly. So did you experience something similar, or?
Absolutely. The first time I was like, and this is the step 1, and this is the step 2, step 3, step 4, blah. Any questions?
And it's like, what is step 1?
Yeah.
I guess, another thing that put a lot of stress on me is that I would be with people sometimes older than me or younger than me. It doesn't really matter, but they will be holding a pen just like what I'm doing right now. And it's like, teacher, what is X, or whatever that thing may be? And a part of me was like, oh, MG, whatever I say is going in that notebook. Yeah. So it better be right. I'm just wondering, do you have the equivalent of that? Because I guess in your case, it's like, whatever I say, this person is going to move or do that.
It's the truth, right?
Oh, wow.
Because you have a big responsibility when you are leading something.
Of course.
You are the leader there. If you say, this is how it's correct, they will trust that you're saying the right thing. So there's a big responsibility on your shoulders, and you have to deal with that, and you have to embrace that responsibility and be prepared. If I tell you the meaning of, I don't know, the step, or what does this song mean, I need to do a previous research. I cannot just go and say, probably it's this, or I don't know, I think this could be this. No, like, you need to be sure about things.
Of course.
Otherwise, where's your credibility?
And it's also, I suppose, that aspect of like passing the tradition, right?
Exactly.
You want to make sure that people actually know what things mean.
Yeah. And if I don't know whatever thing we're talking about, it's like, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know the answer for this question, but I'm gonna do a deep dive into it, and I'll bring the answer. Or the other is like, I don't know the answer, but something that I learned at the Apple Store, let's find out together.
Oh, there you go.
You can go and do a little bit of research and bring me the answer, and I will do my part of the research, and I'll bring you my answer, and let's share information. And I'm sure you deal with this. Like, you are the teacher, you go and give your class, but it's also amazing when you give them a little bit of a responsibility so they can bring back something. And it's not only a load on the teacher, but it's a shared load.
Oh, exactly. Totally.
Yeah.
Something that, I'll give you a minute. I don't even know if it's a tip, but something that I'd like to do is and it's funny I'm bringing this up with all the things happening in Venezuela, but I always say something like, I believe in democracy. And it's like, we have to do something. And it becomes a mini negotiation. It's like, we can't do, for example, playing games. We have to do this or this. What would you like to do first? Mm-hmm. Or I think, look, I would tell my classes, and you guys know, and I'll tell this to my students too. I'm like, I can lead you. I can tell you what we're doing or what we'll do, but what would you like to do first?
Yeah.
And then that gets them thinking. And maybe I suppose in your case, or like with dancing, it might be like, oh, I gotta work on my footwork, or I have to work on this. And I don't know. This is something that really works for me. So there you go. I don't know if you have used it, but
I haven't, but I think it can translate into dancing, because of course there are some bases you need to work on first before going into the footwork or the skirt work. But of course you can. For example, there's coordination, and there's posture, and there's strength. So you can choose, what do you want to work on first? Would you like to strengthen your muscles? Okay, let's do that. But then we will definitely need to work on the posture, right? So, okay, you want to work on the strength first? We will do that. We will do the posture later. Don't worry, but we will get there at some point.
Cool. Well, look, this is a perfect excuse to have a part 3 to see how it goes. You did mention that one of the goals now is growing.
Yes.
Your baby.
Yeah.
Growing Son de Mexico. We may have some of you guys listening going, that sounds unreal. How do I join? How can I get in touch? Obviously, Itzel's details, everything is going to be on the episode notes and also in the description. But if anyone was asking, what's the best way to get in touch or like to join? Best is to contact you, right?
Yeah, as easy as a direct message. Feel free to send a message to Son de Mexico. I'm always checking on the inbox. If you want to write an email, go and write an email. If you want to send a comment in YouTube, okay, I'll go and check your comment. Whatever, I'll be checking the inbox, the comments, the emails, everything, and I'll get back to you with the questions, with answers to your questions. And if you want to join, more than welcome. I'm happy to receive as much people as want to.
There we go. Look, just before we wrap up, I have to say that one of my, I wouldn't even put it as a regret, but something that I wish that I would have done more before when I came to Australia, it's maybe joining or being a part of a group. Looking back, I suppose that all my experiences helped me to get to that realization, but it was also tricky because, as you know, being an international student, and all that makes it trickier. By the way, in your group members, do you have any international students?
We have 2.
There we go.
Yeah, we have 2. What you say it's a reality. It can be very it can be very daunting sometimes being an international student and keeping up with your assignments, but also keeping up with your work and also keeping up with living life and surviving.
Exactly.
It can be daunting. It can be very overwhelming. I hope that the international students that join Son de Mexico can find some peace
Exactly.
in Son de Mexico, some community, some not only dance but support. We want also, and we are also, a group that supports people, supports dreams, and empowers people as well to follow their dreams.
This sounds like it's not just like I want to learn how to dance. It's X amount of dollars. I pay you, and then class finished. Bye bye. Go away. I'll
Not
see you
at all.
next time.
No.
Now, the spotlight is on you, Itzel. We have covered many things. We talked a bit about your baby, how it all started, and you have been throwing hidden gems throughout the episode. The spotlight is yours. What would you like to say to our audience, our listeners, people that, have been with us in this episode?
What would I like to say? Probably if you are passionate about something, whatever it is, if it's drawing, coding, singing, dancing, sewing, whatever it is, make the time to work on your skills, make the time to learn, to keep learning, never stop learning about what you love. And if you want to make it bigger, there are no limits. The possibilities are infinite. The possibilities are as big as you want them to be. There are no limits. Probably the limits are only in our head. So go for your dreams, follow your dreams, always thinking about how can your dreams also impact other people in a good way. Never harm others, please. Just do it in a good way. So other people, probably other people are getting, inspired by you. You never know. You never know who's watching on the other side.
Damn. Okay. That was, I'm not going to add anything, just unreal. Simply amazing. Itzel, look, it's been an honor and a pleasure to have you back. And amazing episode. I had a fantastic time. I hope you and that you guys had a fantastic time too. Massive thank you for joining us both here on YouTube and also on Spotify. Extra thank you for the OGs on Spotify. And, you were part of our day. And then, this means a lot to us, to me. I'm sure that for you as well. So, yeah, thank you for the support. Make sure to tell people about Son de Mexico if you know of anyone that might be interested. If you are interested, Itzel already told you, get in touch. And well, I hope that you had a good time as much as we did.
Like, comment, subscribe, notifications,
Boom.
all of that.
And look, Itzel, as I said earlier, we'll probably have a part 3. Hopefully in the next 12 months. Maybe not that big of a gap. But you will also be busy with performances too.
Yes, I hope so.
I'm sure you will. Well, this was episode 97. I hope that I said that already. Episode 97. Thank you so much. Thank you, Itzel. Miss me. Don't miss me too much. I'll see you next week or on the next episode. And until then, take care and bye for now.
Bye for now.